I'll press record now.
Press record, and then we'll just have a little bit of a chat. And at some point, I'll cut into
You'll
it.
just cut into that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know what point that'll be.
I didn't get you a water. Do you want a water?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I get it. You don't care about me. That's okay.
You can glug it out the bottle.
I'm scared to drink mine now, though. Spill all over everything.
Do you like any Robinsons in it?
What is that? I was looking at that.
It's an English thing.
Is it?
There's many.
Is it
English things that I've had
blackcurrant?
to explain.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit.
I'll try it. Yeah, why
Yeah.
not? This is very new to me.
It's got weirdly wholesome.
Thank you. Ooh.
Fruity.
Yeah,
Ooh, I like it. How come do you not drink it straight out of the bottle? How come it's mixed with water?
You can try.
It's very, very strong.
Is it?
Mm.
Too
Well,
concentrated?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At that point, it's basically syrup.
I kind of like that, though.
It is, as a kid, it was like when you go to the cupboard and you're like necking Ribena out the bottle. Nice.
That's when you know you've got some issues going. That's where it's time for problems.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, Ribena chat done. Hello. Welcome to Leeds 101, where we have Crystal as normal, but we've got someone else as well. We've got Michael. Say hello, Michael.
Hello.
There we go.
Yeah, all right.
That wasn't an instruction. I was just like, it's fine. And I figured, what better way on a match day, because we've got Watford later on today. I don't know when I'll be uploading this, whenever I'm able to sort of do an edit. We've got Watford coming up a little bit later, so I figured, what better way to introduce someone to the pain and heartbreak of Leeds United ahead of what might be a 1-0 loss in the last minute than Michael, who has significantly more of a memory about Leeds United than I do.
Someone who is damaged.
Damaged, deeply, fundamentally hurt.
Yeah, fair enough. What are you expecting?
I mean, I want Dan James to score me a goal. That's what I
Okay.
expect, yeah.
Is
One
he-
or two.
Is he a favourite?
Yeah, I think so. He has a puppy. We like his puppy.
He does have a puppy. Does Pat Bamford's dog still have an Instagram page? Duke Bamford had an Instagram at one
Duke?
point.
Oh, what a
I
name.
thought Duke Bamford was just his posh dad that lived in the manor. But,
No, but I think he did. I can't remember what sort of dog it was, but yeah.
yeah, I've just realised we've got some weird bits of like background lore and story and stuff, including the Dan James thing that I had completely forgotten about. But yeah,
Are you aware of Dan James's backstory?
Not really, no.
We nearly signed him a couple of years before we actually signed him. He turned up on transfer deadline day. He'd signed all his contract. They'd done pictures with the shirt and everything. And then essentially the Swansea chairman didn't answer his phone and pulled the plug on it, and it collapsed. We didn't go up. He went to Man United.
Ooh, not
had
good.
a bit of time there. Then we bought him eventually. Then we accidentally sent him out on loan because we thought we were buying someone else. Now he's back and everyone likes him again.
Oh,
But it's
jeez.
been quite a journey for
Yeah.
poor Dan.
That's all right.
He said-
It's not the, what is it? It's not the destination, it's the journey. Is that the saying?
Yeah, I'm not sure the journey was all good. I think people generally say that to justify a good journey, but it's not been the easiest for him, has it?
yeah, the journey does include a trip to Fulham because we didn't have anything for him to do, and then it turns out that season he would have been a bit useful.
Yeah, he would. But all forgotten now. I must admit, I never expected to see him back when we shipped him out to Fulham. But he's very good in the Championship.
I was sort of in the same spot where I didn't think he'd come back after Fulham, but at the same time, who else was going to have him?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Just someone. He's quick.
I mean, Rasmus Christensen found somewhere.
Yeah, they're actually buying him as well, aren't they?
Well, apparently. I hope so.
Thank you.
Let's get rid. It's great. But generally, we've got the idea that you're hoping for a Dan James goal, but having seen various bits and bobs about sort of atmosphere and all that sort of like the vibe and stuff, what are you sort of expecting from the in-ground experience?
Well, from what I've been told, apparently it's pretty chaotic and loud and noisy, especially if there's a goal. So I'd love a goal. It doesn't have to be Dan James, but a goal on our side would be amazing because I'd love to just see how the fans react. The chants, I've been warned about some of the chants being a little crazy, but just in general, being at a game and comparing it to what I'm used to for American football, let's say, it's, it's going to be a bit different. And I love to see the different cultures coming together and just the game day atmosphere, the way people are with each other while they're watching the game. Obviously, the game itself is going to be important as well. But yeah, I'm all about the atmosphere, all about the fans, how much this means to them and how passionate they get. That's something that I'm really looking forward to.
I mean, Watford's it's a fairly nondescript game in truth, isn't it?
It is, but
I don't think they'll bring too many away fans, probably. They'll probably just be the top bit of the West Stand, won't they?
it is because my brother and dad are in the bottom bit of the West Stand.
Okay. And that's always a sign that the away fans are nice as well, when they don't sell the tickets, but they allow home fans underneath. If it's like lunatic away fans,
They won't do that.
That bit's just left empty.
Okay.
But Watford they're quite nice, aren't they?
They're just a bit quiet. For a little bit of background, Crystal is a Canadian that lives in Italy and supports an American NFL team. But
makes sense, yeah.
Her dad is an Udinese fan who have the same ownership as Watford.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have gone for a slightly more exciting match, but I think there's a little bit of a fun connection going on.
Yeah,
there.
okay.
There's a little bit of,
This is his
jeopardy.
team. Whenever I ask him who's your team in this division, and he says Watford. So the fact that I'm going to this game, he's kind of upset that I'm not supporting his guys, but he doesn't really have any say.
There used to be more of a crossover for a few years, didn't there? When they were, I think before they tightened up some of the rules on loan players, where Watford ended up with like 7 players on loan, didn't they, and stuff like that. So yeah, the links are still there, but they're not quite as strong as they used to be.
Yeah, they had a bunch of players that were definitely sort of Serie A standard, but weren't getting into Udinese's first team. And then it turns out there was a reason they weren't getting into Udinese's first team.
Yeah.
But I'm going to cut this a little bit out. Are you okay to switch that way a teensy tiny little bit? Okay. I noticed that you weren't quite in the middle of your bit, and I'm just sort of, there we go.
Is that better?
I think so.
Yeah,
I hope
okay.
so. Then again, I might just keep this bit in. I don't know. I've not decided yet. But what I've been asking a bunch of people is, on a match day, I know that your current traditions include stand under a bridge and sell some things. But before that was what you do, what were some of your match day traditions? How would you are there any like lucky things that you try and make sure that you get done when you're going into stuff?
Not a superstitious man.
No.
A
little bit stitious?
I think over the years, I suppose I've had little things that I've thought have brought luck. Like when I was a kid, we beat Man United on Boxing Day, Christmas Eve, one year, and I got a hat, which I considered to be lucky. It was a yellow and white Santa hat. Still got it in the loft. I considered that to be lucky for a while, but then I think I was taking it to games, and like 3 games later we lost, and I was like, "Oh, that's gone."
I mean, it had a decent record by that point, though, right? If it had been good until you lost 3 matches later.
I can't remember the exact time frame, but I remember thinking, "Oh, that's a lucky hat," because we never beat Man United, and it was Christmas, and it was a great day.
It's good vibes, yeah.
Exactly, and then it didn't last. So no, I've never had much of a tradition of anything like that. I mean, in terms of just the general going to games and stuff, went with my dad until I was sort of 16 to 18 kind of period. Had a season ticket for most of that time. Then as I got to be a student and started going with mates and stuff, I was just going to the pub really.
That's
good.
That's the student life. That's what you have to do.
Yeah, and then started doing the magazine in 2010, and then since then I've been stuck under a bridge trying to sell magazines. So, although not doing it tonight because this is the 4th game this would have been on sale because the way the international breaks have fallen and 2 home games in a week and stuff. So, just not bothering.
Yeah, probably not worth it. Anyone that's going under the bridge has been under the bridge.
That's the thinking. That's the thinking. And you don't even know which
I don't know what bridge.
You don't even know what I'm talking about.
No.
But I like bridges.
It's not picturesque. It's a little underpass under a motorway that stinks of piss. But
wonderful.
just piss and anything else.
It does vary a little bit. There was a burnt out car under there once. Well, the car had gone, but it still smelt sort of fumey for a few weeks. They had to put up some lights so you can't see a vein to try and keep drug addicts out of there. So it's nice. It's quite a vibe if you want to go sit under there.
I remember the other day you were sending me a message, like we were talking about like what exactly we're going to get planned for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And you were sort of like, what is there to do around the ground? And I was like, nice tunnel. There's a Mackey's nearby.
McDonald's. There's a pub.
Staple items.
Subway.
Chippy. Yeah. I mean, there's a few things. It's not. I've seen the tours of Levi's Stadium.
Okay. I was just gonna say, does it compare?
That.
No. There's no tailgating. There's none of this.
No, with tailgating, the drink driving aspect of it, do people just not care?
So I obviously don't live there, right? Whenever I've gone in and gone to tailgates and whatnot, I'm Ubering or I'm getting off of a train and walking over or whatever it may be. But they get pretty lit up, and I know that some of them just hop in cars afterwards, but there's cop cars everywhere.
Right.
So I know for a fact that if they're going to be drinking and driving, they're probably going to have somebody who's sober, hopefully, in the DD and everything. But yeah, I don't know.
No,
it's not my problem.
It does help that the cops are pissed as well. Because there's just sort of like, I can't really judge you, to be honest.
True.
Yeah, football's not really got any of that stuff, has it? It's very much pub. If you're going to get,
it's a bit gritty, a bit.
Yeah.
But the pub is right nearby, so people would go there and then wander over to the stadium for the game.
Yeah, and you can buy drinks in the ground, but like I've seen the tours of. Have you seen it even from the outside yet? The stadium?
No, my Uber driver did not take me that way.
It's pretty old. It's the
little bit.
Whereabouts you sat?
It's the West Stand.
I don't know.
Oh, you're sat in the oldest. You're sat in the oldest bit.
The old bit, but it's the nice bit of the old bit because it's press boxy bit.
Oh, you're in the press box. Okay, that might have been tarted up a little bit in recent years. I think the Premier League years meant have they done some nice stuff to it? I've never been in.
There's a nice bit down below where Daniel Farker's going to have a chat after the match that we're not invited to.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, the West Stand is really old though.
So when you say old, what are we expecting here? Is it falling apart a little bit?
Yes. Truth be told, yes, it is. It's the bit they're going to knock down next.
Okay.
They've basically said within the past few weeks that if we can get promoted, that will be knocked down within a couple of years.
But they'll keep the structure of everything and just renovate around?
No, they'll likely build a new stand behind it while people stay in the bottom of it, and then they'll move those people into the new stand and knock the old bit down in front to make sure they don't lose any capacity. But yeah, it's really old. It's got wooden seats. It's kind of just really higgledy-piggledy inside as well. Like there's loads of like little staircases that go to a bit, and then you're kind of cutting across all the rows of seats and stuff. It's very old.
Okay. But iconic.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I suppose so, yeah.
In an asbestos-y way.
Yeah. And there's like, compared to Levi Stadium, when I've only ever seen the videos of it, but there's loads of room in the concourse and stuff. Yeah. This is like microscopic. There's hardly anything. There's just about room for a bar, isn't there? And that's really it.
That's sort of it, yeah.
Yeah. It's an experience. But it's good that you're getting to see it because you probably won't be there in a couple of years.
Oh, sad.
It kind of is.
It's a bit sad, but at the same time, I think
it really needs to.
I think the first match back, whoever is sitting in there will be like, "Oh, this is what football stadiums are supposed to look like."
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
It's very it's still got pillars holding the roof up and stuff, so you get restricted views in parts of it.
Yeah.
Which obviously no stadium built in the last 40 years has got that.
Yeah, give or take. Something like
but that's character, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little vintage. I like it.
It is.
Yeah, but being a prick is still having a character, you know?
True. Yeah.
But yeah, it is the oldest bit of the ground. So it's have you ever seen The King's Speech?
Yes.
Film? It was the bit at the start of that where they're pretending to be in Wembley. That's filmed in that stand.
Is it?
That you're in.
Okay.
Because it's that old.
That's how old it is.
Wow.
Yeah,
because it looks like the old Wembley Stadium.
Nice.
Because it fits that 1920s aesthetic.
Yeah. Well, cause it's kind of like wooden seats and there's a bit that looks a bit like the Royal Box, I suppose. So, yeah, that's the age of it.
Okay, well, that's exciting.
If you want to call Radritzani a royal, then that's entirely up to you.
He wishes.
He does sort of wish. That'd be a bit of a problem. I've just realised I wasn't quite as close to the mic as I thought I was. So that's really, really fun.
Stay on top.
Yeah. There's very clearly a difference between this setup and the one that I've got at home. And the one that I've got at home is just like, talk from anywhere. It'll be fine. You can hear the dog barking from like next door.
The idea is it rejects external noise. So it's like if there's people talking outside, so it doesn't pick that sort of stuff up. But you do have to speak quite deeply into it.
You've got to sort of be as close as you can to the microphone and have some words.
Exactly.
These are like ASMR mics.
Yeah. And if you take that off, it gets even cracklier.
Never take your mic hat off again. I know it's the closest you've ever had to having hair on your head being like a non-bald microphone.
I did have hair at times.
At times? Did it pop in for like 3 days at once and then just go off again?
That's roughly how it felt. It didn't last long.
The bald is bold. We like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
I don't think I could do it, but that's because I can't grow any facial hair.
Yeah, that's yeah. If I went full clean shaven, I'd look like a big baby, which is which wouldn't be good.
Eventually, when I'm like 70, then a beard will show up.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
Oh yeah, you should be able to grow a beard by
I know
now.
I should be. I'm
Can you go
firmly aware
for?
of
Can you
that.
go to Turkey for the beard transplant?
I think you.
You don't hear of it, do you? As a thing.
No, I don't think you could because you're meant to like not touch the hairs afterwards. I think it's going to be quite hard to just not touch the bottom half of your face.
You wouldn't be able to eat for a bit, and I don't know if you could handle that.
I do like food.
Yeah, I've noticed.
What the fuck?
Not in a bad way. Everybody loves food. It's fine. But he's always like, I gotta go eat. I'm like, okay, go eat.
You don't look like you eat.
Thank you. What, at all? Anything?
You're a very thin man. That's all I'm saying.
I'll take it.
No, it's good. Lucky.
You've seen me in a spoons after those charity walk days.
Spoons, to be clear.
Okay, what is that?
Is Weatherspoons, not big spoon, little spoon cuddling situation.
But what's the spoons? What is this?
Weatherspoons is a chain of pubs.
Okay.
It's a good, well, it's not good necessarily. It's a cheap pub chain,
Okay.
but it's like everywhere.
Yeah,
Every town has a spoons.
It's cheap but consistent. If you're in a completely new town, you don't have to work out if a pub's good or not because you can just be like, spoons,
Yeah.
spoons. Yeah.
Okay, fair.
And they've got an app as well, so you don't have to leave your table.
No?
So you can just order pints
Okay.
to the table.
And it is absolutely best if you don't ask any questions about the owner of Weatherspoons because then you'll question why you're in Weatherspoons.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not a great guy.
They normally aren't. The
Yeah.
people who own these kind of things.
Although some people might say he is, so I don't probably need to be politically careful. It depends on your leanings, I suppose.
I'm trying to remember what my comment section tends to look like. I think we leave that as that bit
Fine.
of conversation. But on the food thing, as we were saying, Levi Stadium, lots and lots of food options, tons of them. How are we describing Elland Road by comparison?
I think it has improved. I don't tend to buy stuff at the ground, I have to say, but for years it was like the most disgusting little sweaty burger in a bag.
Yeah.
Or a pie. The pies in our Prime Minister pies, I've noticed, which is
So what did you just say?
the
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister. It's a company. They have restaurants and stuff, I think.
Pie manufacturer. Just go with pie.
Yeah, they're in a little box.
I don't know. People.
I don't know if they're any good. But I've seen like some loaded fries and stuff going around. There's pizzas in the East Stand.
For the Leicester match last season, the one at home, I was in the top of the East Stand and the guy next to me just rocked up with some like top chips. And I was like, that's a little bit snazzy for what's going on here, to be honest with you.
They've got some, they certainly did, well, they used to have some good meal deal options.
Okay.
What do you think? I'll let you have a guess at what meal deal 2 might have been.
Meal deal 2? So this is like burger and beer kind of thing?
Nope, it was a bag of crisps and a glass of wine.
Oh.
It's not
So
a meal.
that's what you want, yeah.
Not a meal. Yeah, there was a few of those. It was like, don't call it a meal deal. It's like Mars bar and pint.
You've just done a combo, and it doesn't mean anything.
No, they give you that as like an aperitivi. Same in Italy, they do the same thing. If you're having wine, you need chips or crisps afterwards, so then you don't get too drunk, right? Yeah, that's why they do it.
I doubt the wine was very good.
It doesn't sound like it would be.
It sounds like this. You know how Spurs has that nice little brewery in like the ground, and they're like, yeah, we brew our own beer. It's great.
That's nice.
It would be. My theory is that the wine at Elland Road is just sort of, it's the like water that comes through the grass underneath the pitch, and they've just whacked a couple of grapes in there, left it be.
It's not. I don't think any of it's very good. The bars and stuff are all very old.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the issue. There's not the infrastructure to. Well, I think maybe there could be if they spent some money on it, but the vibe is a bit like, we're knocking this down soon.
So who cares?
Yeah,
Just roll with it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a rented house.
But how do the people feel? Like the fans and everything, do they complain about it, or are they kind of used to it?
Kind of used to it. People do complain a bit.
We've been a bit busy complaining about other things in recent years, in all fairness.
Yeah. Like it's not well maintained, I would say, for how expensive it is still. Like I started a thread on Twitter a while ago and asked people to send in the worst bits of Elland Road, and someone sent a picture of a pie on the wall, and they were saying this pie's been here since the start of last season, and obviously someone has just chucked a pie, and so that's just someone's not cleaned it. Like people walk past that every day and go, oh,
the pie is there.
The pie's there still.
Yeah,
someone should probably deal with that, but no, there's been like the same. There's some posters that exist that have been around for like a decade and stuff. Just in the south stand, there was a little. It had at some point been a bookmaker's, like a betting station, but it had just, someone said this has been here for like 8 years with just stuff piled up on it, and no one's
still taking odds on Snodgrass first to score.
Yeah, but after that thread, loads of the stuff on it got cleared up because the club obviously saw it, and some people got bollockings from being like, "When we could get the pie off the wall." I know we're not spending money, but like we've got cloths.
Yeah, maybe all it would take is just a bit of a.
Yeah,
and you've solved the problem.
If it was in your own kitchen, you wouldn't accept it, would you? You wouldn't just be like, "Oh, there's the pie wall."
It depends. Does it smell quite nice? Is it like?
Not after no.
No, that's a good point. That'd be a very, very old pie.
Yeah,
at that point.
I don't understand how this even stays on the wall. What are these pies made of?
Probably quite high salt and fat. I
the,
guess it just doesn't go off.
From the experience of the one that I've eaten once, my guess is cement.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It stays up there forever.
If it was a chicken balti one, that might have put off the rats.
That's just spicy cement.
Nice.
You've just changed the flavour profile of your building materials. So we had a little bit of a chat about Chants on a recent podcast. We discussed the one that I personally don't like getting involved with. It's about a BBC presenter. But there are some fun ones. Of the ones we've got going at the minute, are there any that we sort of need to keep an eye out for that you particularly like to get involved in? And further question, are you a no, or are you a clap, 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 clap?
No.
I'm also a no.
It's the better version.
It is, yeah.
Occasionally I do clap at the same time and I think, no,
I'm a nana.
Get carried away sometimes though. I mean, the Furpo one's the catchy one at the moment. I think that's the main one to go for. We're in a bit of a spot with players where quite a few of them are still fairly new. Like Matteo Joseph doesn't have a proper chant. Dan James doesn't have a chant.
Yeah, he's hardly new, is he?
I know. Well, no, but he's just never got one. But like Ramazani doesn't have one. Solomon doesn't have one. So there's a lot of the players who might score,
and they just do nothing. Like the fans don't react.
Well, they'd obviously
cheer,
but
it's not very.
There's not like a
specialized.
There's nothing unified behind it.
Yeah,
okay.
And then Junior Furpo, I'm now holding up the mug that we've made for Junior Furpo.
Cute.
Yeah, like it's the salt and pepper push it.
Yeah. Okay,
tune.
that's fun.
And it's a good one. It's a good drunken one to sing along to. Is that?
And it's a good little bit of story time as well if you're completely new.
Yeah.
What's Junior Furpo's story? Well, he came from Barca, won the cup in Spain, came to Leeds, and he'll do the same again.
Yeah, exactly.
And it sorts everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, Junior Furpo used to be terrible, but now everyone likes him.
Okay. Why? What changed?
Stop being shit.
Yeah.
That helps.
Stayed fit. He was injured all the time, and when he came back, he was never any good. And then we've kind of gone down a division, which has probably helped as well.
Okay.
Because there aren't as many good players.
Stands out a bit more
to run at him. Because he's a defender, so he used to just kind of get, if you were playing against like Mo Salah or someone, he struggled a bit. It's fair to say.
A bit is a hell of a way to put that.
Yeah, but in this division, he's fine.
Oh yeah, it's completely fine.
It's full of slow plodders.
So
that's good.
Oh, Junior. I think he had the same issue as Pat Bamford in that he got injured and then it was like, shit, we got no one to play that position. Pat, you mind coming back? And then he just gets injured again.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Pat hasn't quite made it back, and I'm not sure he will.
He was all right for the times he started last season.
Yeah.
And then he got injured again, and then we didn't get promoted, which wasn't fun.
He has tailed off though, hasn't he? Before the injury, was kind of at the bit in the Bamford curve where everyone kind of goes, "Oh, we can only play well with Bamford." To Bamford misses loads of chances, and I'm sick of him. To Bamford's injured and can't play anyway.
Yeah, but even when we've played well with him, it's been Bamford's missed loads of chances, but he's made chances.
Yeah, and we did win, and he stretches the play and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you see, I can't be too critical of him because I played 7-a-side last night, and I realised that my entire game is move good and hope that defenders don't see you, and that's the same thing. So I can't be too mad. Because,
how's your finishing?
I scored last night.
You did?
Yeah, I managed to hurt myself.
7-a-side though, those games end up about 14-all. You can't claim too much glory.
There was a match we finished 3-3, but there was a match in our league that finished 17-2.
No.
Yeah.
Oof.
Jesus.
And the guy that was giving me a lift to the match was the centre-back for the team that conceded 17. And he said many a time, "You're lucky I'm giving you a lift because I nearly just left."
I was, years ago, I was playing at Goals, it's a five-side place. My team had just finished. I'd been playing in net. And the team that were on next said, "Oh, our keeper's not turned up. You don't have to pay. Do you fancy another game?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, go on." I can see why the keeper didn't turn up. I just got absolutely peppered for like 40 minutes, and it was a similar score in that. And I was like, is there any fucking chance, lads, that one of you could try and stop some of these shots? Because it's just like a shot every 5 or 6 seconds, it felt like. So retired, not long after.
You know when they've got the ball, you don't need to let them go past. You're allowed to tackle them.
So yeah, they were short, but I didn't probably help a huge amount.
So combining your experiences of various sports, we've covered 49ers-y things and the fact that you've got a nice stadium and ours is a hull. We've got sort of some Italy in your footballing past.
Yes.
So is there anything sort of from sort of the world of Italian football that you'll be like looking for or comparing with or anything like that?
Well, okay. So I've been to a few Serie A games now because I live right near Milan. So we obviously go to San Siro quite a bit. It's an iconic stadium. The fans are pretty crazy there, just from what I've seen. And they've one of the worst ones that I actually went to was in Venice. We watched Venice versus Lazio, and Lazio's always been kind of that team that you just don't mess with their fans. Their ultras are really crazy.
Are they the ones that hired a Mussolini?
I think, yeah, the daughter is a granddaughter of Mussolini, I believe. Isn't it?
If I'm a football club, I simply don't hire people that are the family of dictators.
That will play well at Lazio, in fairness.
It will.
They're quite like that.
Kind of works, yeah.
It was where Di Canio was when he was doing his salutes. I think.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
It's got a big eagle on the badge.
Oof.
Bad signs.
It's a bit 1930s Europe, isn't it?
Yeah. So anyways, with Lazio fans, I noticed that their ultras are pretty crazy. When we were going to the Venezia game, we're going down the street and all these fans started going crazy because they're like, was this guy chasing a couple of the fans with his belt off, and it was really not so great. So has there ever been instances like that with the ultras that you guys have witnessed being at the stadium or being around the stadium? Is there anything to worry about?
Not with Watford.
I once got kettled after a Man United match.
Oh my gosh.
Did you?
Yeah. I was trying to walk back because I get picked up in the B&Q car park afterwards. So I was trying to walk back along like the road, and it was just that was fun.
All right. Yeah. Now, in the fairness, football in this country now, it doesn't have, certainly around stadiums, there's nothing at all really, in my experience, because there's a lot of CCTV. There's a lot of, if it's there's danger of trouble, there's a lot of police.
Okay.
Like when we played Millwall, they don't even bring many fans, and they're pretty much like man-marked by the police. They'll bring them to the ground from the train station, from buses. Like when you get to the ground, you'll see away fans. If they arrive by bus, they're taken into like what looks like a prison at the back of the West Stand and then guided through a concrete tunnel into the ground. It's all very secure these days. People who went to football in the 70s and 80s would tell different stories, but it's kind of, I started going like mid-90s and it was all fairly, there's still if Man United were in town, for example, there'd still be like, you'd see a bit of fighting and a bit of kicking off. And like with Millwall over the years, there's been odd little bits, but it feels like it's generally quite avoidable, is what I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas I think at certain points in England, it's been, well, it was like spilling onto pitches and like running battles in the street and stuff outside the grounds, but it's not been that for a very long time.
Okay, good.
But if you do want to attack some away fans, Watford are pretty soft. So,
Yeah.
so go for it, I would say.
Quite squishy.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably the best way.
They'll just be quietly sat there listening to a bit of Elton John.
Yeah, we lost to Watford in the playoff final in 2006, and they were just very nice about it.
Were they?
They just didn't seem to be making any sort of a fuss, whereas Leeds fans would have been absolutely unbearable.
Yeah.
So they just kind of got on with it and just like, well, back home then. That's nice. Premier League for us. And it was pretty low key.
Okay.
Even in the playoff final that just went, like Southampton weren't that bad about it. Like I remember heading back down Wembley Way on the way out, and you know how it was sort of like there'd be about 1,000 of you clumped together, and then they'd let you through, and then the next batch. Somehow there were a bunch of Southampton fans in front of me rather than still in their end having a bit of a good time.
I found that was weird as well.
And it was a bit like, you've just done a promotion. Have fun.
Yeah.
Don't leave.
Like, what are you trying to do? You're trying to beat the rush on like what's meant to be one of the best days.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Southampton fans, I think, probably sensed there were a lot more Leeds fans in that queue than them. So maybe they were
very, very
I was
quiet.
going to say they'd probably be well advised to just keep their head down and be like, yeah, I'm pleased, but let's not
I'm
upset
happy,
anyone.
but quietly happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that leads me to another question, because last year Venezia had the same thing. They were playing in Serie B and they got promoted up to Serie A because they won their way through. They had finished third overall, but then they had to do the same thing like Leeds, where you play a couple different playoff rounds to get up. They ended up going up. And on the field, once the game was over and everything, they allow the fans to rush the field and spend quite a bit of time around the players, the coaches, everything. Is that something that would happen over here? Do they allow fans to rush the field?
At Elland Road, it would happen because the playoff game against Southampton was at Wembley. It's not the done thing there. I don't know why it's not really. It just isn't, is it? It's because it belongs to no one. It's a neutral ground. It's like
it's a weird stadium because it's technically really, really nice, but there's several issues in it. In that, like, you know how Angus mentioned like a sound engineer or something. I think a big part of that is because Wembley also has a sound engineer, but they got a sound engineer I remember seeing on a documentary when it like first opened up. They got a sound engineer to make sure that for concerts and stuff, sound wouldn't echo too much and they'd be able to sort of work out all the words in a song and sing along and stuff, which means that chants just don't get going. So atmosphere in Wembley is a problem in itself. And then that sort of spirals onto the fact that, well, it's not your home ground and between you and the pitch is some weird like horizontal wire fence thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's like 8 foot across. So even if you were to try, don't think it'd end too well for you.
Yeah, but if Leeds went up at Elland Road, I think there would be a pitch invasion. There was when we went up from the division below the one we're in now into 2010, and there was a pitch invasion then. There's not been one since, though. I don't think.
Don't think so. That definitely would have been on the promotion day to the Premier League, but
yeah,
COVID.
Yeah, so we've not had an opportunity, but
sad.
We may do.
I'm very glad we didn't against Norwich because I think they're becoming a little bit too common. To be honest with you, like the amount of times you'll be like, "There's a pitch invasion going on." Yeah, because you finished 16th in the Premier League. Well done.
Yeah, you in days gone by as well. You'd occasionally see them at like FA Cup games as well, wouldn't you? If like a non-league team got a win against someone from the top division, there'd be a little bit of a pitch invasion. But
That's their Super Bowl.
Yeah, basically.
See, those ones I can kind of back because if you're like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a nothing team.
Histon.
My brain immediately went to Histon and I was like, nope, bad memories. But if you're a side like that and you manage a win like that, it's like, cool, well done. You're not going to outdo this for, at the very least, a long time.
Yeah.
Whereas for, like, Everton managed to stay up despite cheating. Well done. It's okay.
Yeah. But no, there certainly won't be a pitch invasion today. But again, if you want to try it yourself, see how you get on. It's weird because if one person goes on the pitch, it is actually, I think, due to hooligan problems, it is a criminal offence to go on a football pitch.
Is it?
Actually, you are just straight
like
up
streakers kind of thing.
You are just like straight up arrested for it. There's not a defence for it particularly. But if loads of people do it, nah.
Unless you're an 8-year-old and you want to hug.
Yeah, there has been. Although the club have tried to clamp down on that as well, haven't they? They've said like,
didn't say that they'd start like banning the parents or something along those lines.
I think so. Yeah.
What happened here? A kid went and wanted
kids
a
would
hug?
like at the end of the game. Kids would go on to try and like sort of to meet their favourite player, but then also to get like the get the shirt and stuff like that. But it just became a thing that after every game there'd be like a dozen kids all like legging it on the pitch, and the club had to be like, look, don't let your kids do that.
Right.
Just keep control.
Once or twice.
Unless you're
taking the piss here.
We will taser them.
Jesus.
That would have been a hell of a direction.
It'd be an option.
Plus, that'd at least prove that someone can take a shot on target.
Hey.
Oof.
So we're going to close out in a few minutes, but does anyone have any more questions for anyone else? For example, Michael, about American football and said such culture, which I know that you're such a fan of.
Well, I've got a reputation of being somewhat thrifty. How much is it to go and watch the 49ers?
Depends who they're playing, for sure. But the last game that I went to, we paid $150 a ticket.
Oh.
Oof.
Is that a lot?
Yeah.
No. $150, I don't think it's that bad.
That's I don't know exactly on the current rate, but that's well over £100.
Oh, it's
$150 American. Yeah, this was
20-ish.
Yeah, that's a lot.
okay, but for one of the best teams in the NFL, last year we ended up going to the Super Bowl.
Have you won or lost more this season?
We're not talking about this season. I don't want to talk. I'm actually still heartbroken from Sunday. We're not talking about that game. We lost a lot of players. A bad injury for one of our guys that we just paid a lot of money to, too. So that's not great. But yeah, no. Last year was one of those years that we were just winning. We were on a roll. And so 150 to go see that game. I saw the Buccaneers playing. Not bad. Not bad. But there's been games. My husband and I went to a Patriots game, for example. I think that was like $500.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you're not
for 2 tickets.
Presumably you're not going to, I don't know how many games there are. There are like 46 games in this league.
Oof, it's 18 games.
And there are people who will go to every single game.
Wow.
So
that's dedication.
So it can't be $500 a game
No.
That would be
in this league. Yeah, I mean, a season ticket is about 580 quid, I think.
Don't know why you're asking me.
I've got that daft 20-year one I bought, so I've not paid for one in years. But I think it's about 580, but that's for 23 games.
That's pretty good.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It is all right, I think.
When that expires, you're never going to a football match again.
Well, I suppose I'll just pay for it, won't I? I've got nothing better to do with my time.
Crystal, any more questions from you around your perspective or anything going on?
Yeah, I'm just interested, Michael. Do you have a game that you've been to that, you know, whether you did with your podcast or just on your own kind of thing, that was a most memorable one for you, and why?
Ooh, there were a couple of really good ones last year, actually. The Leicester game, because at the time we thought we were going to win the league because they'd been top for ages. That was us kind of reining them in. We weren't brilliant in the game, and we were also goal down till quite late in it. Turned it around, 1-2-1, and the atmosphere just was
3. You forgot the one that is technically a Pat Bamford goal.
Oh, okay, fine. But yeah, that was probably up there with one of the best atmospheres I've known at Ellen Road. Was that? Also, last year the playoff game was pretty amazing as well.
Norwich was great as well.
Yeah,
because we scored very early on, and from that point it was just a party.
Yeah, it was 4-0, and we just it's weird because games with no jeopardy sometimes can be a bit boring, and that just wasn't. It was just fun.
Yeah, I think by that point it hit the stage of, cool, let's have a good time and do the same again in 2 weeks in London, and then we didn't.
Yeah, there was always that. Older games, I mean, the Christmas Eve one that I mentioned as a kid, as like a formative experience of like, this is maybe the best my life was ever going to be. Beating Man United on Christmas Eve and just being like, oh my God, what a couple of days.
Brilliant.
I mean, it was kind of post Santa in my mind, but you know, you're still getting good presents at that point. Yeah. So it's, that was a really good one too, but must be some other good days.
There's one that sticks out a bit.
There's like 20 years in the middle of those days.
Yeah.
There's one that sticks out a bit to me, and it's weird because we lost to Scum, but it was the one where a couple of years ago it was hammering it down throughout the entire match, and Rodrigo scores a goal by accident by the looks of it. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and we got back to 2-2.
And scored lost 2 more times. That was the match where I genuinely forgot that Ronaldo was playing. Because he didn't do it.
Yeah. No, he didn't, did he? Do you have an opinion on Ronaldo as a world megastar?
I'm not really crazy about him.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I genuinely think that he is kind of a D-bag and that people praise him too much. He's a great player. I'm not going to take that away from him, but just his vibe is not my vibe. Yeah.
Correct.
I'm not going to make further comments on this based on various employment things.
Oh, yes.
Yep. But I don't disagree. So we'll end on one more quick question. Predictions for tonight. We can have score, we can have goal scorers, we can have anything. What are we feeling?
2-0. Nice standard. I feel like we need to just feel our way into this season by just beating teams with nice routine 2-0 wins.
Just do the boring thing.
Yeah. Goal first half, goal second half. No stress. That's all I'm after.
Crystal?
I'm going to say 3-1. I think they get a cheeky little goal in.
Is the one at the start?
I don't know.
If they're going to score, it's better that they take the lead, because then you get to see them going, oh, for fuck's sake.
And then you get the good vibes
And then you
afterwards.
can enjoy it afterwards.
Yeah, and then we just pile on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it's going to be. Okay, the one is in the first half, and maybe it takes us a bit to get there, but then we just hammer down on them. It's good.
I like it.
What do you think?
Because Watford are really bad away from home this season. They've conceded, like, in the league, they're something like 9th. But in terms of chances conceded, they're the 4th worst team in the league at the minute. And in terms of goals conceded, they're also very, very bad. But somehow their goalkeeper's still overperforming.
Oh, okay.
So, based on all the numbers, we should dick them. That's not what we tend to do, but I'm going to roll with it anyway and say like a 4-0.
Wow.
Why not? And you know what? Melior's going to score a penalty. Why not?
Someone needs to take him.
Can't have Strike doing it anymore.
No,
Firpo. Firpo can do it.
Firpo. I mean, Pirro's been starting actually, hasn't he? So it would be him, I guess. But if we're a couple of goals up, let Melior or Firpo have it.
Yeah.
Just for a laugh.
Just give a goalkeeper a goal. That'd be quite nice.
That's what I was thinking of doing champ manager over the years. Just get your keeper on penalties just for something to do.
I worked out on One Football Manager Save a few like versions of the game ago that there was a way that you could get a penalty like every single game. So I put my goalkeeper on pens and he came out with a golden boot.
Wow.
It was great.
Interesting. How are we getting a pen every game?
I can't. It was
Can't
doing
remember.
something
It was
weird
some
with
sort
the
of weird.
tactics.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But it just worked. It's great.
Excellent.
Yeah. But that's what we're thinking. Let me know what you're thinking about all of this shenanigans in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not yet. That's always really appreciated. And you could even be a channel member. It's 99p for a month and you get videos like this one earlier than you would otherwise. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed. See you later.